All right, good morning. It's 10:01. We'll call this meeting Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. Everyone, please rise. And this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Watts to give the invocation.
Yes, Judge, I asked Bob Hampton this morning to say our prayer in lieu of the day before election and the things going on in this country, and I just wanted to get Bob to bring us before the Lord.
Not only that, but Friday is Veterans Day, and Veterans Day has been with us since the end of World War I. It has always been November 11th, but it started off being called Armistice Day. And then with another good president who had served in uniform, Dwight Eisenhower, designated November the 11th, 1954 as Veterans Day. From that day on, the name was changed from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. So we'll be praying for those folks too. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you with grateful hearts, thanking you for the privilege of living in this great country. We are so blessed, oh Heavenly Father, and we thank you for the privilege we have of being a member of this great nation. Help us always to cherish it. Help us, give us the courage to speak up for it when people run it down. Help us to realize that there will always be wars and rumors of wars, because that's what it says in your great word that you've given us. And so we thank you for the veterans and men and women who served in uniform. We thank you for their service, their dedication. Many times in the cause of great peril, they've charged when they should have been home with their families, yet they love their country so much that they love this flag and they serve it without hesitation. Thank you for all that you do for us, Heavenly Father. We ask you to be with us now tomorrow in voting. We ask you to give us voters that come to the polls that are educated in what they want to vote for and have studied the candidates that they support. Lord, help us to get back on the right track. Mm-hmm. Help us to be kind to one another, to understand that we can disagree and yet still be friends. Guide and direct us, O Lord. Forgive us where we fail you. All this we ask in your most precious name. Amen.
Amen.
You know, Bob, as you were saying that, I was thinking of that statement that freedom isn't free.
That's right.
Oh, amen.
You join me in the pledge of allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, Texas, please.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats, please. Commissioner Beecham, would you like to say anything about the Operation Green Light?
Yes, sir. Yeah, this evening at 6:30 here at the courthouse lawn, we will be honoring our veterans because it is Veterans Day week. We are joining in with the National Association of Counties and counties across America in lighting our courthouse up green and asking residents and businesses across the county to do likewise in honor of our veterans. So we will be holding that ceremony this evening. I'd like to invite everyone out. I think it will be a touching tribute to our great men and women who have served our nation. So yeah, very, very proud to bring that to Wichita County.
All right, thank you, sir. I would like to make a presentation this morning. You all know Lisa.
Oh.
Well, that's gonna help when I get ready to start. Yeah, but
But you know, in picking the employee,
I'll ask Judge.
you know, of the month among your crew, it's not hard to pick this rose among these thorns. Presented to Lisa Woodruff, Wichita County Employee of the Month, October 2022, in appreciation for your outstanding performance, service, and dedication to Wichita County. You got anything you want to say?
I just want to say thank you so much. I'm honored to have this, and I work with a great group of crew here, so I'm very appreciative. Thank you so much.
Constable Little?
Well, I want to say, hiring the right people, it makes a difference.
Amen.
And, you know, when I came into office, we were in a bit of disarray, and Lisa was brand new. Our office was disorganized, and we had a pile of work, over 100 citations left. And Lisa got in there, and she organized everything. She trained herself, mostly. Of course, we did get help from a lot of the other offices, but she got in there and trained herself, and she is responsible for a lot of policy changes, even here at the county, that are gonna make a financial difference in how we do our business. So you get the right person, you get results. So I wanna thank you, Lisa, for all you do for us. Thank you, Judge,
Yep.
Commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Judge, stay right there. I may have misunderstood you. I didn't read the agenda correctly.
Oh, okay.
I figured you were going to read this proclamation.
Well, I will, and you can, but you've done all the work on it. I wish you
Well,
I'll
I
do
would
that.
ask anyone who served our great nation and is a veteran, I would like any of y'all to come up and stand with us and receive this proclamation. Come on, Bob.
Brendan?
Anyone else? Okay, no, yeah, absolutely.
But go ahead.
But we do have a proclamation, in support of Operation Green Light for Veterans.
I
Oh,
was
yeah,
getting you to move- I was getting you to move closer to the microphone.
Yeah, in the Navy, right?
You gotta have Navy in there every time.
So what do we have? Navy, Army, Air Force, any Marines? Yeah, Marines, yeah. We got, well, no Coast Guard, okay? Or no Space Force either, so, but, no, we do appreciate your service. And as a citizen who did not have the pleasure to serve, I want to thank you humbly for what you've done for our country. So, as proclamation supporting Operation Greenlight for Veterans, it says, whereas the residents of Wichita County have great respect, admiration, and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served our country and this community in the armed forces, and whereas the contributions and sacrifices of the men and women who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedom and way of life enjoyed by our citizens, and whereas Wichita County seeks to honor these individuals who have paid the high price for freedom by placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all, and whereas veterans continue to serve our community in the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, religious groups, civil service, and by functioning as county veteran services officers in 29 states to help fellow former service members access more than $52 billion in federal health, disability, and compensation benefits each year. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition into civilian communities annually, and an estimated 20% increase of service members will transition into civilian life in the near future, and whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during the transition from military to civilian life, which puts them in high risk for suicide during the first year after military service, and whereas the Wichita County Commissioners Court appreciates the sacrifice of the United States military personnel and believes specific recognition should be granted, therefore be it resolved with the designation as Green Light for Veterans County, Wichita County hereby declares that the week beginning November 2nd until Veterans Day, November the 11th, 2022, a time to salute and honor the service and sacrifice of our men and women in the uniform transitioning from active service. Therefore, be it further resolved that in observance of Operation Greenlight, Wichita County encourages its citizens in patriotic tradition to recognize the importance of honoring all those who made immeasurable sacrifices to preserve freedom by displaying a green light in the window or their place of business or residence. Thank you, and I'll present this to Joel. And you are our representative. so-
Okay, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, the word like, Bob was saying, we got a network with each other with brotherly love, but this picture, I asked her to take a picture, because the simplicity of it is if we don't get the word out, Commissioner, and this picture is gonna go to our national headquarters throughout the nation, and hoping, in the DAV magazine, and show the people in the United States that Wichita Falls cares about their veterans.
We do.
Yes, sir.
Deeply.
And if I wouldn't have known this until you called me, of course, I know y'all talked about it, and it's a wonderful thing, and maybe we can outbe the Department of Veterans Affairs in Maryland, because they think they started, but I think we started. Anyway, Robert, yeah.
All
'cause,
of you, it's all of your
you know,
honor, so.
if anybody wants a picture with this deal, let's do it, because it's not gonna happen again. And then, yes, sir. Okay. And then we'll give we'll give the Navy.
That'll look better.
Okay.
Got it.
All right, thanks, Liz.
Let's get one picture with her.
Oh, okay.
One picture, yeah, one more picture with the Navy. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Are you ready?
We'll move in just a little bit. There you go.
Air Force always got a prop up the name.
Chair Force, you said?
Careful. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. It's a mouthful.
Gives you an appreciation for it.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know she'd ever leave.
All right, nice to have those kind of things. Okay, at this point, it is 10:14, and we're open for any public comment. Anyone in this audience or anyone on the call-in?
Judge, I just wanted to remind everybody, tomorrow is election day. Polls will open at 7, close at 7. We are a vote center, so you can vote in any location in Wichita County.
And Lori, if I'm standing in line at 6:59 and I'm 100 people away, are they gonna still let me vote?
Yes. If
Okay.
you are in line, you will get to vote.
Okay. Mr. Hampton?
Not that I'm prejudiced, commissioners and judge, but Thursday, the Marine Corps celebrates its 247th birthday, which makes us probably the oldest branch of the service. The Army's always gonna argue about that, but we were organized in Ton Tavern in Virginia, so I know that shocks you.
It shocks me that y'all remember it. Yeah.
You weren't personally there, were you, Bob?
Chief was there, but I wasn't.
Okay. Anything else under public comment? Okay, it is 10:16 and we will close for public comment. I'd ask the court to take action on the consent agenda, bring any item down, or ask for clarification.
Judge, can we move item 9, 10, and 11 down for discussion?
Yes, sir.
On item 13, is that's just allowing them use of the property? We're
That's-
not giving part of it away?
No, we're not giving them part,
All right.
anything. We're giving them a plot, a 30 by 30 plot in order to put up a mezzo, weather site.
Right.
They've staked off the plot. I have not been back out to see it where they've staked it off, but we'll come to a mutual
Just for
agreement
how
where it
long
could be.
you wanna have it for.
Yeah, it's a very good thing to
Yeah.
to have in
Oh,
our
I
community. No,
disagree. That is-
it's a great place to have it, and it will actually increase a presence in that area, so I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Mel, we'll probably need an agreement, a lease of, you know,
That's what I was thinking. We need some kind of
Yeah.
lease
Yeah,
agreement or something that gives them permission to use it for however long or until they not keeping it up or
and
whatever.
Mel, I was telling Mark too, when we'd done some work back some time ago, the children's aid, home there is, when you look at it, it appears narrow and deep, but I don't believe it actually depicts what they have leased. So I need to get you that information, and we've had the work done on it, back, so that we don't have an overlap occur.
Yes, it's through Texas Tech University, and visiting with them, they say they usually don't do an agreement when they do it on government land, but we can, I'm certainly, yeah, we probably should do something simple.
I guess it ought to have, I think we're to have something, so there's no questions, 10 years down the road, what y'all do about this, I mean.
Whereabouts, and I agree with, there needs to be something the same like in those tower agreements that we do have, they have the right, if we quit using that site, then the landowners take it back. If we want something in there that if they decide they're no longer to have that when technology changes, that they're responsible for removing it.
That's what I was
And
gonna
that
say,
kind of thing.
Judge.
We can certainly push it, give
And,
it to them.
and whereabouts is it gonna go out there?
It
We haven't decided.
be up close to the road, 31st Street, but it will be on the eastern part of the property, east of the road.
Okay, towards that, you get into floodway,
Yeah, it won't,
floodplain over
it won't
there.
be in the floodway. It'll be
Okay.
well away from the floodway.
No, I think that'll be an asset to us to have that here.
Very much so. And I know, just talking to David Graff, he's excited to have that here in our community with all the data that it'll provide, so.
Right.
How does Channel 3 utilize information, Mark, from, how does that work? I mean, are y'all tapped in, Jay, to different stuff like that?
I think they get it all from the National Weather Service, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think this is all goes into that whole network, so.
I see.
So I forget all the different measurements, but it'll take soil moisture down to
It
30
does.
inches.
I've
and-
seen the graphics and it's very, advanced as far as, showing moisture and daily usage, and it's got all kinds of,
Wind speed and temperature at three different levels, and.
and it'll be another tool for, pinning our burn bans and things like that on. It'll be
Yeah.
another valuable tool to understand that, but, yeah, I've seen several, videos on it, and boy, it gets pretty complicated.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And Judge, on item 12, I just wanted to understand exactly what that was, Cheryl.
We're just closing out that bank account. We don't use it anymore. We run everything through the payroll bank account, so that account's no longer needed. So
Okay.
we're just gonna clean that up.
Clean up books. Motion to approve consent with those changes.
Second.
Any other comment on these items? Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Fintan, a second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the items on the consent agenda with the moving of 9, 10, and 11 down to general business. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. All right. Let me just I gave you all a handout this morning. Commissioner Fintan rightfully asked this morning, he said, what do you have to back up why we're creating this court reporter position? I think this was briefly mentioned during budget. I talked to all of the judges about it because of the scarcity of court reporters. And the court reporter that the justice of the peace officers across the hall and I both had a reporter. We could use them for examining trials and for my every Wednesday mental health hearings. when we had the opportunity to actually bring on a sixth court reporter, but at a significantly reduced rate, because that person will be allowed to do outside court reporting. But the idea is to have that person, we chose a salary of $65,000 instead of $100,000. The handout you have shows that that amount will be exceeded most likely in what's being done. But right now, we're keeping a spreadsheet on it of what she's doing in the child support court and child custody court, what she's doing in my court, and for the JPs. Plus, she has filled in, she'll be filling in January in Judge Bernard's court, because his court reporter will be out, and for about 10 days. So it was it looked like a very fortuitous thing to grab her, but the county court has not functioned as broad as it can because of the lack of a court reporter. We're supposed to be a court of record. So having that person available, it certainly makes it possible to have a reporter for any of those requirements, juvenile adjudication hearings, adult criminal if necessary, but it puts that. But the biggest thing it does, we've had to delay trials because there wasn't a court reporter available. Can't say it enough, if you're a young person wanting a good, well-paying career, become a court reporter. And Vernon College has just started a court reporting school. And so it's certainly a career, and I can remember Ms. Shelton in here one time complaining that we were paying court reporters more than her attorneys, and court reporters are harder to find. And, so it's a supply and demand issue. But it looked like the cleaner thing to go ahead and move that out of where we had that position in 409, move it in. We didn't fund the secretary's position in the 401 budget this year, so I'd like to change that fourth position from secretary to county court reporter, and to put the funding in there to cover that for the rest of this year and then for 2023.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Right now, we have, you said 5 court reporters?
Right.
Are all 5 positions filled?
Yes.
So each district court and each county court has their own court reporter?
Yes.
Right now, do they have are they strictly that court, or if somebody's out, does 30th fill in for 78th, vice versa?
Not too often. It's
So-
rare. One, they're not available.
That's what I don't understand is what do you mean they're not available?
Well, the courts are going on simultaneous.
Right.
So that court reporter, if the 30th is in session, the 78th and the 89th, and they've got to be on vacation, they're out sick, any number of things that they
But
can be absent.
they don't ever really cover for each other or try to.
Occasionally, but not routinely. But that would be, the advantage of this position would go in and fill in on that same, and you've got the fixed payroll amount for that.
Now, and what is this showing me, Judge, there's a graph or a chart here with 4 court reporter dollars on it. It says 22 actual county and non-county.
That's showing the ones that what we pay out for in county court. Cheryl, you may have to help me with that one.
Do you know, Cheryl, what I'm,
That's for Mike, so it's gonna show what we're paying our visiting court reporters and what we're paying our current ones, and so, we're paying a lot for visiting court reporter. Because not only do we pay a daily rate, but then we're paying hotel and mileage, et cetera, for them to come.
So this person will act as a full court reporter?
It will be a
Yes.
full court reporter, and then we won't have to pay the visiting
As often?
as often.
As
Not to
often.
say that we won't ever have to, but it will be less often.
but are we not setting ourselves up for a salary that, I mean, I just know what's gonna be said, the first rattle out of the box for the budget is, my court reporter's only making 65,000 and these other 5 make 100.
But the difference is, she is allowed to take outside We know she's not gonna use that, although with the, and like I say, Morgan is keeping this, she is spending a great deal of time in Judge Lowe's court and May in Judge Jennings' court, fill in. But with, everything she's doing is you're not paying an outside court reporter for it.
Who pays for in Jennings and,
We do.
We do.
There is not a good answer. The best answer we have right now was to take advantage and hire Ms. Sanders. And so we would have a court reporter that was, we had first claim to.
Are those numbers in the county and non-county, those days, the trials, or the 2167-1? Right here, Judge.
I don't know what all those days are either.
Well, what is that? I don't know what that represents.
I'm not sure.
It says county and non-county.
it looks like that he's projecting out that we'll have paid
Yes.
5 court reporters, but
Cheryl, do you need that to look at? I really looked at the dollar value.
Let me see if I can decipher. Yeah, he is projecting out the remainder of the year and what our total estimate would be. For each department, let's see, 429, CPA. I think Mike's getting on the line.
And Judge, how would it work if, let's say, she takes on a job with Jennings and we're paying for Tracy to utilize this person and she's unable to help for when she's actually counting?
Well, they have, both of those judges deal in circuits, and so far we've worked out those days. Now, they're gonna, that we've got her available, we've got Wednesday mornings covered, and the justices across the hall have established a far-out calendar. Morgan keeps the calendar on that. And so far, we've been able to cover a great deal of that by managing that court reporter instead of trying to call. One of the things that there is a electronic court reporting group out of Dallas. They come in by Zoom. They're not, we can't guarantee them. So this is taking a great deal of chance out of this and be able to move on with our backlog courts.
And why wouldn't it ring true? Why wouldn't we budget such an expense to these courts instead of the county judges?
It comes out of the general fund, and then we have someone coordinating it. Too often in those things, if we leave it out there, it's not monitored and done well. That's just not their forte.
Then we're gonna have a breakup of who's in what courts is budgeted out and charge it to that department. That's gonna make it a kind of an accounting nightmare for us on payroll side.
When you refer to county court, that's not county court of law,
No,
that's,
county,
yeah.
constitutional county court.
right.
That's where that person is under the control of the county judge. And then she's answering to one person. They're not all calling her and trying to do it. It all comes through our office and determine her availability.
I don't disagree with Jeff that right now we have 5 that are working for each individual court. Seems like they would be working for the county and schedule all their courts through the same system rather than being tied to one court. It seems like you're not utilizing the people you have to the best of your ability.
I haven't found any
But-
place that's, to me, I agree wholeheartedly, Commissioner, what you're saying.
But
But it doesn't work that way. Those court reporters are sworn into those courts. They are, and.
But if that's the case, then all your visiting court reporters would be sworn into a court too, so it's not saying that it couldn't be that way. It's saying that
It's-
the district court
it
that chose
could,
that they want.
But they don't wanna do it that way.
It's just not good utilization of manpower.
I wouldn't argue that at all.
So it's not statute, it's just the way
No,
it's done
It's,
everywhere.
it's
the way it's
practice and
done.
tradition, and it's the way it's done. I had thought Tom Green County their county judge told me they had a system that they
But
had.
the difference here with this is that the district judges won't be able to set her salary either. If you put her under a district judge, they set her salary or his salary as the court reporter.
Right.
Whereas y'all will set this person's salary.
It almost seems like to me, Cheryl, that the court reporters work for the
They do.
county,
Well, they
but they're assigned by the judge.
They are assigned by the judge, their salary is determined by the judge, and they can determine whether or not they're going to share their person. They have a lot of leeway with what they can and cannot do with their court reporters that y'all don't really get to
You don't
say
get
much
to
about.
say.
Yeah, I don't disagree. That's just, I'm just bringing that point.
Right. But
in
we are,
public.
our visiting rates are going up,
Right.
so
Yep.
we would still have a $30,000 potential savings here by hiring an in-house versus whatever we're gonna be paying for visiting judges.
And what, Cheryl,
They're
did we
busy
budget
workers.
for outside reporting in 23? And why wouldn't we move that
We-
money to that salary?
We have budgeted open positions in 409, we have budgeted for visiting court reporters in judicial non-departmental, or whatever it is, but, you know, either way,
It's still general fund money,
it is all general fund money.
but it's more accountability. Now, if we ran short of funds, but we put enough money in there to do that, and there's enough money in this year, and there's enough money budgeted for next year but to put it underneath the office is.
Right, the
control
only,
that.
and the only reason really to put it under the judge's office is then, yes, there will be a centralized location for scheduling and accountability. We stick her in judicial non-departmental, who's gonna be over her? Well, we're still gonna be over the judge, so you might as well just stick her in 401.
It sounds good in theory.
It
It's- It should save us money. My concern is after the first year, we'll be coming back for the commissioner's court to bring her salary up to the same as the other court reporters. Or if we ever lose this person, that's exactly what's gonna happen.
Or you go back to visiting court reporters.
It
Yeah.
sounds to me like the new position's gonna be a lower paid position, it's gonna do more work than the other ones.
Maybe so.
And then when that person leaves, we're not gonna be able to find anybody.
There's
You know,
that
if we all
potential.
waited to see if frogs could fly, we'd be here a long time.
I mean, I like the idea. I mean, it just, there's definitely a downside to consider.
Yes, there's downside both ways, so
Yeah.
there's no real good answer here.
But annually, contracted reporters to the county, we're spending basically what annually?
We're projected to spend about $93,000 this year in visiting.
Just take me through the numbers. In item 9, we're noting salary at 65. In item 10, it says fund salary and benefits for 42,000, and then in 11 it says 90. What? I'm
So-
not following the number trail.
On 10, we're increasing, so in 10, for 22, we have already budgeted a certain amount for that position. And so we're just increasing as to get through the difference for the, the remainder
So
of the year.
That's for the remainder of this year.
Right, the
Okay.
remainder of this year.
You're right. It
Yeah.
says remainder. I get
Yeah.
it now. I didn't
And
read
then
it.
11 is for all of next year with
The
salary
90 is
plus
the number.
benefits, yeah,
Is it-
all of the
Okay.
fringe
Okay.
benefits.
But part of our employment agreement with Ms. Sanders was that this would be reviewed next year, to see if we, cause that, she wasn't being greedy, that was a good number, it seemed like it allowed for that based on what we thought we were paying out. And no one knows right now with the amount of backlog in the courts, and it gets harder and harder to get a court reporter. One of the 5 upstairs is talking about retirement in the next year. So,
It's- Will this court reporter be in a position to move up into one of,
she doesn't seem to wanna do that.
Okay.
She had been with a district judge before, working full-time, and really thought this would accommodate and
But
would meet
she's-
her financial needs in, her personal time she'd like to have that she hadn't had.
But she could certainly fill in an interim
Yeah.
setting.
Well, like I say, she's gonna fill in, I think it's 10 days scheduled for Judge Bernard's court next year
Well,
already.
The fact that the salary will be up for discussion in the next budget. It's true,
Every salary we go, yeah.
position, so that's not unique, and,
But that's why we're keeping the log on what she's doing both privately and for the county, so we can have a quantitative measurement of that.
Judge,
Yes,
y'all hear me?
yes, sir.
This is Mike.
Yeah,
I was just gonna see if y'all had questions about the spreadsheet, the chart again.
no, the only one I had was, what does the numbers under county and non-county, those days? There's like a 2167-1.
So those are how many different, invoices or how many different cases, I guess.
Yeah,
is
so
the best way to
okay.
Put it.
And Mike, we're seeing a 2022 actual that totals up to 213,000. And then you move over and it's got the amount totaling 140,000. And then it seems that non-county reporters to date are paid 72,600 with an estimate for the rest of the year. What does the end of year estimate of 179,000 represent?
This chart was made at the end of September, so I was just taking what was already spent and projecting it out for the rest of the year back then.
But what does 179,647 represent?
That's the estimate of what we would pay county court reporters for all of 2022 in additional work.
In additional work?
from September through December, right?
No, the
No, the rest of the year.
39,000 is
The rest
what?
of the year is above that. That
But
one is.
but Mike, they all make 100,000 apiece. What's 179,000 represent?
They do additional work.
So they're paid an additional 175,000 on top of their salary.
Is that for transcripts?
Yes, sir.
Yep, that's paid while they're at work for the county.
Out of county funds.
Well, or that can be out after hours, they do that, they're exempt employees,
I
so
know,
it may be
but it can
but
also be
sometimes-
at county.
sometimes they have to do that. When there's an appeal and they have to prepare a transcript, then we have to bring in a visiting reporter.
But
And they do pay for their own equipment, which is quite expensive.
Yeah,
But Mike, you're telling me that the total expense for a contracted reporter estimated through the end of the year, all said, all done, is 92,000?
I mean, if you took what we paid by the end of September and
That's in charges, appeals, everything that a contracted reporter would get, total dollars spent is 92,000.
That's for our non-county.
That's just the
court
non-county.
reporters. Those are the
Right,
visiting ones.
but what we're paying our 5 county reporters right now is bumping $700,000.
Yes.
yes.
And how much, so how do you equate, a non-county employee right now has worked 86 hours to date, or September timeline, and the county employees have worked 134.
That's additional case, like those are additional transcripts that are requested by the court or the judge or.
Probably not ours, but units.
So that would be a transcript for state of Texas versus John Jones or whoever it might be, you know. It's not necessarily one day.
so Mike, those are transcript numbers?
I'd have to pull it up and view.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't,
I believe it's everything that was paid out of those lines.
okay.
The spreadsheet's not real.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
hard,
really follow it to figure out anything.
it's hard to, we've got so many numbers floating around, it's hard to get a handle.
Well, the county number represents paid above salary. the non-county seems to represent paid in full.
I mean, the essence of this is looking at that what we're offering with salary and benefits is a better deal than trying to find that, the other court report. It's the availability. The idea that we hired this person and we have first divvy on her has made the difference in us being able to fill those positions.
Which probably has some value.
I don't disagree with that part of it. It's
I do
probably-
apologize for the spreadsheet. It wasn't
No,
really
it's-
meant for public consumption.
Correct. It's not, well, it's just, it doesn't explain anything that we can tell what it means.
Well, the essence of what it does explain is that based on what's happened so far, and the courts are just now really getting going, that you would project spending more money than what we're paying the court reporter.
No, the same money, Judge.
Well,
If you're gonna pay a court reporter 65 and then put benefits on top of it, you've not saved anything.
But you've broken even, but you've had them available, you haven't slowed your courts down. And I'm gonna say, Commissioner, that as they pick up, and I've just looked through the bill for the number of jury calls we're still having at MPEC, they are producing more cases and court time than we've had in the past. So, I mean, but you can't do any of that if you don't have court for it. And the ability to schedule that reporter and work for those two specialty courts is worth a lot. And then you take care of the needs of my court and the two justices of peace that do examining trials.
So the motion would be to extend this to the end of the year, and then it would be reconsidered for the next budget, correct?
You know, I'd like to have it go ahead and go through and part of what's gonna happen as the new county judge picks up, it's gonna take them a while to build that case log back up. But you're only talking about every Wednesday morning unless they do additional, work in juvenile or criminal. You don't have to have a reporter for probate.
Well, it depended on what we decide to do here. One of the things that troubles me, and I'm not pointing fingers because I'm as guilty as anybody else of this, we don't do a very good follow-through sometimes on following up on these things at the end of the year. Let's take a look at it and see where we are. Once again, I'm not pointing fingers to anybody because you've got a lot to do, and that's just one of those things that sometimes you don't get to. But that's something we need to do more of. Did that really work out?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things on the table like that.
Wait, question then for that. You're saying that this position will be monitored by Morgan to scheduling and seeing how many weeks of court? Does anybody do that now with our current existing 5 people?
No.
That seems like okay, well, I'm just curious if it was being done.
You work on that, bud. Be more.
Well, that'd be hard, it'd be hard to do. I'm just saying.
I'm just trying to get them on the time clock. You do the rest of that.
Once again, it's not like we don't have plenty to do. I get it. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but it would be nice to have some follow through on stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we do and we say, well, we think this is a good idea and we're moving forward, and I don't know that we ever go back and check the data, and we probably need to at least think about that.
But gentlemen, I'll apologize for pushing all this in, but the time was, to get that person was available. Had we not taken that time, that
But
opportunity.
you understand my point.
Yes, sir, I do.
It's always good to go back.
But I will
Yeah.
measure my follow-up on things against anybody else who wants to measure up.
Hey, Mike, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, under non-county and county, you have listed these numbers. And under county, you feel like it's the number of appeals that they worked on. Under non-county, what does that represent?
Are you talking about the figure of days?
See where you have the numbers under non-county, 4, 67, 15, they total 86?
Mm-hmm.
What does that represent?
So it's how many cases or records that they produce to get to those charges.
Well, I assume it's how it was billed, right?
Yes.
They bill us for that.
They'd be billing invoices.
Right.
But
So it doesn't
plus mileage.
Hey, Mike, on those,
Put me on the spot.
on those invoice numbers, could there be multiple invoice numbers in one day if they're doing a bunch of plead outs or something like that?
I imagine.
Usually a court reporter is hired for a period of time, but it depends on how the judge signs off on that bill, whether it might break it out per case. Because they've got to open and close each time.
Right.
So they may be charging, you know, we'd have to look at the detail of that bill.
But nobody keeps any records of all that, basically.
No.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna say, if we don't approve this today, you're seriously gonna hamstring what's going on.
I think I have to get back to y'all on mileage.
But they are charging us, if they're charging a hotel, then they're charging per diem and they're charging mileage. So there's more to that than just the hotel rooms.
Changes the number.
Yeah,
right?
but it still comes out, the county work is more expensive than the non-county work. If I'm utilizing these records as, divisible by the total spent, then, you know, right now without any, just say hotel added in, it'd change my number $58, but $845 for a non-county and $1,047 for a county record. Just going off of these, Mike.
Well, that's from your existing court reporters, that's not what your $65,000 court reporter with benefits is not costing you that much.
Well, it shows here, Judge, that the non-county contracted work is gonna cost us, projected out, $92,000 in 2022.
Actually 93, you really look at the round.
And then
Yeah,
you-
93,000.
Then you add the hotel and you add per diem and you add mileage to it. I think you're gonna be, you know, but those are projections if you can get the people. If not, you're gonna stop those courts. And I can't stop mental health hearings on Monday. And the court reporter I had for that got hired by a judicial district and lost her. So, you know, it was either take what was available or figure out how you're gonna get around that, because you can't have those hearings without a court reporter.
Well, sometimes it takes certain things to do certain things, and that's just what it costs.
Well, that's it.
That's what I'm
And
hearing you say.
it's not like on
Yeah.
some hearings, you can postpone them, you can put them off.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Kinda like trying to run a piece of equipment and not scheduling any fuel. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
that would- yeah.
not budgeting, I shouldn't say.
I mean, I guess it missed me that the urgency of this seems paramount at the time, but we've heard zero about it. I was totally in the dark about any of this, and then all of a sudden, it's a great urgency that we hire a person for 2/3 of what we're paying other people, which we know will not last or work, and we're setting ourselves up for a greater expense that then we will be paying quite considerably more
Well-
for the county person than what we are for contracted.
And you're not, no, you may not be, because that supply and demand issue on your contracted court reporters, we know that's gonna go up. Guys, I don't see a way around it, and I apologize you don't know more about it, but there wasn't a whole lot of time to get this done. Either you took advantage of it when it came, or you lost it. Yeah.
So it's either go or lose the opportunities.
Yeah, lose the person. I've already got her on. We've already had to use her. But,
Hmm. Somebody help us out with the wisdom of Solomon solution here.
Well,
Who's in charge of that, Mark? Are you in charge of that this week?
I just well imagine that we'll be addressing the salary again next budget
We're
year.
gonna address every salary,
I know,
Yeah.
I know that, Judge,
Yeah.
but I don't see it staying. at
unless
the-
I read this totally wrong, that person could have asked for more salary than that.
That's,
And
Yeah.
didn't, and we've talked about it. I feel good in that arrangement that was made, that we can.
But
we will-
Judge, she is getting more salary. She's got free reign to go take on any other work that she can grab.
As much work as she
As
can.
much work
As long as she
grab.
can take care of job number one. And so far, that has not been an issue.
But the
And-
current court reporters can do the same thing, can't they?
That's true of
Yeah,
they can,
lots of
but,
things.
yeah.
but will they?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that they do.
Well,
I mean-
no, they don't do other court reporting work, but they do the appeal work, which is pretty lucrative, 200 grand, in 22, paid on top of their salary.
Well, and that's to really three of them. That's primarily district court reporters
Mm-hmm.
that get that. That's one of the advantages of being up there. But if you all don't approve this, then you tell me how we're gonna handle this.
I think there should be more help. I think that, there again, I'm going into that, what you said, take care of it, big buddy, but what I'm saying is, the county employees, the county judges, it seems like they would wanna work together too and share that and try to make this work instead of just always pawning it off on the taxpayers. That's my 2 cents in it. I'm not disagreeing with we need a position. I don't think there's enough people wanting to join in the fun. That's my opinion.
Well, you know, I tried approaching this, that we'd go to a pool, they'd all be together, and, I was glad they had those wooden barriers over the windows on that third floor room. I brought that up.
That seems like a logical way to do it.
Yeah.
Was the answer no, Judge?
I think it was an expletive no, but, because we've never done it that way.
Yeah.
Well, in the,
And,
So-
you know, there may be even there, you know, court reporters, you realize if a court reporter is out, sick, they have continuing salary, they're on that continuing salary thing, they're a class all unto themselves,
Good lobby.
yeah.
Is that
So that-
because they're assigned to, is that because they're a district court employee, or is
No,
that
they're
because
just a
they're?
county
because-
employee. It's just same as you getting sick or.
so that would apply
But
to
they
this
are,
position
court
as well.
reporters have got their own special classification by state statute.
So this person would,
They're appointed by their own district judge and their salary is set by their district
Yeah.
judge, so
so,
But this one will not be.
Right.
that is correct.
oh, this one will not have the salary continuation.
You know, I don't know. I think that may be all court
All
reporters,
court
period.
reporters, okay.
What do you mean, Mark, by salary?
Like in law enforcement officials, they have salary continuance, so if they're.
On the job
out for-
injury.
On the job,
We've had them out for carpal tunnel surgery, and their salary continues. They're not even.
Would, she'd be a county employee.
Yes, but she would, and she is,
Limited time.
but
but it's beyond FMLA though.
Yeah, that's,
And then we're still
Oh, yeah.
gonna have to hire a contract on top of it.
Salary
if
continuation,
that happens,
I didn't know court reporters
Sa-
were on that.
are they, you don't,
I didn't know that.
you did not know that? Well, I can see the value in it in one side, but also see a lot of downside. But in the interest of moving on, I'd make a motion to approve item 9.
is there a second? Okay, I'll second it. Any other discussion?
And Judge, there is not, you're telling me that this girl's the only contracted person out there and she wants to take this job and when she's
No, I'm not
gone, there's
telling you
no
that.
other contracted people out there.
There are others, but the demand is greater than the supply.
And in our area, who's using them other than us?
They're going other places. They go all over, but any of the counties around here, or Dallas, Fort Worth. But this is the best chance we've had to have somebody to guarantee the courts can go on their schedule when they've got things set up to do it.
It's basically a wash in money. I see it being, we're spending the same, and I don't take issue with that. It's just what I foresee coming down the road, and I'm telling you, or I guess, just wanna make note of the fact that I will not support this person making $100,000
Okay,
in
deal with that when
23.
it comes. But right now, I need one more person with a bucket bailing water out. But that control of what that salary is up to the commissioner's court.
Yeah, I agree to that, and I just, well, Judge, I don't think that none of us were aware of this item even being a budgeted item under the
Well-
401 position that we discussed or talked about coming out, and now here we are, just finished closing the budget, and we're enacting this, and we didn't even really digest the need. It was never brought up, it was never discussed.
Well,
Now it's a
I
great
can't tell you
need.
for sure what day I did bring it up and we talked about it, but it wasn't, I agree with the Commissioner, it was never formalized in discussion, and, I mean,
You didn't maliciously
no,
not present,
no.
I understand that, and that makes a difference. Well, now let me ask you another question. Motion on the floor is basically to accept number 9, right?
Yes.
So then we have these other two, so that takes it to the end of 22, but not into 23, then that's a separate motion, correct?
Yeah, but,
Well, 10 takes it to the rest of this year, and 11 takes it
Okay.
through next year.
All right.
So we could, well, we're taking each issue separately.
yeah, they're on there, but it's a package. I mean,
Yeah.
if I go back and tell that person, I don't have you budgeted for 23.
Yeah, that makes it less.
Yeah, you tell me what the chances are.
I mean, maybe.
We
Is
get
there any,
insurance
is
for
there
10
any room
months.
to write that in, that will be the salary through 23? Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing.
Even though we're gonna
With all
redo a
three.
23 budget?
No, we
Or-
won't do, we've done, apparently approved the 65,000, it's in the setting in 409 to be funded. A court reporter that we didn't truly understand, was a need, and now we're understanding it's a need, so in 23 it's covered once these transitions are made here to fund this.
Okay. It took me past that budget period to get the buy-in of the other judges of how they work with it. It was kind of stupid for me to go ahead and do that. And like I say, I may not have mentioned it to you all during that time, and I can't tell you I had that earmarked in there, but we had salary on a number of positions, so that when we get to some point that we've had to add a position, 409 has covered that, we don't have to do a total budget amendment. We can simply transfer those out of there.
You're working between two groups,
Yeah.
basically.
But
Yeah.
I mean, and it disturbs me a little bit that she still remains a contracted reporter. She's just working for the county as we need her, and she's still running her business as a contract reporter. And,
Okay, but we hired her for $45,000 less dollars.
well, yeah, but we got plenty for her to do.
35, well, yeah, we still got it. Okay, at any rate, it's the best solution to the problem we have that I can come up with.
And that problem, so I'm clear, Judge, is what?
Availability of court reporters.
So we're actually not holding court. How many times in 22 did we not hold court because we didn't have a reporter? Do you have any numbers that substantiate that or support that?
No. But if you check around, you talk to the judges, they have postponed court, and I don't know how many times, when they didn't have a reporter. Not very many.
That's because we don't keep any records.
Well, How many records you got on having a flat tire in the truck wouldn't move?
Well, I guarantee you, right now, in my precinct, we keep records on everything everybody
But
does every day, so we
You
can
don't
justify it to the
collectively
citizen.
have a spreadsheet going on.
Almost to a fault,
Yeah.
but yes, we do have to justify, I think, to our citizens what we're doing with the money. And that's what we as commissioners are trying to do right now. And I realize you're in a hard spot because you're having to deal with the judges and the courts and try to get it all too.
You're
But
between.
so it's bad either way.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to deal with people that don't have to answer to the county budget at all, it makes it hard to deal with.
No, and I'm just, and all of it, somebody would be shocked that we attack with a knife come budget time, but this is part of the reason that this causes. I mean, we create a great scenario. You realize that we make, well, it just,
These kind of things would be much simpler to me if I didn't look down the road and have a pretty good feeling of what we're gonna be talking about next summer during budget time. I mean,
There's two things to this, Jeff, that I think are good. The fact that it's at 65,000, I think is good. The fact that it's still underneath the commissioner's court is good.
It's good.
I really wish they were all underneath the commissioner's court.
You
But
can't, there's a
I
statute.
realize that. I'm just saying I wish. I'm not saying we're getting it passed, but I'm just saying it does control the money, but it seems like there needs to be, if they're gonna keep records on it and should try to justify it, I think that's a good thing.
could we write into the motion that Commissioner Van Cannon will add that to his precinct?
Well, he already said that Morgan's
Yeah.
keeping track of all of it on this, to be able to justify it to see if it's saving the county money or not. So,
I mean, it's not costing us more than what we're already spending, and that's the problem. I'm just gonna tell you that, myself is gonna be a holy terror when it starts changing course, because we've operated, Judge, what, you've been in seated 20, how long for Judge? And we've not had this occurrence.
Almost too long.
And
You're gonna miss this, Judge.
Maybe one day.
I can tell.
And part of it, Commissioner, what you're saying is, yes, I've been doing this for 23 3/4 years, and I would hope that when I bring you all something like this, you would think I've had enough experience to find that this is it. The other thing is, I love this kind of thing. 2 years ago, I had an attorney file an appeal on a mental health hearing on 4 points of it that I'd made rulings. And we didn't have a court reporter. We had just been doing the Zoom stuff, and we didn't know to separate each case. We didn't realize that wasn't happening. And so wound up getting the county court at law number 1, court reporter, to listen and go through it and separate that out. Well, the Court of Appeals got a little impatient waiting on that, but they had to wait. So when they get that, they send back their ruling after about a month that upheld all 4 calls I made, and then chastised me for not having a court reporter based on an AG opinion that happened 3 months after that hearing. I didn't bother to write them back since I'd gotten upheld on my rulings. I thought I won't point out the stupidity of that reasoning. I wish I was that far sighted, then I wouldn't even have this problem today. I'd have figured it out ahead of time too. But gentlemen, I'm
Okay.
sorry to put you in this
Oh,
position, but I need you to do this today.
well, just for the
I'll
record,
say.
Judge, I hate being put in this position, but I do understand. I just don't like, it being sprung on us like this and not having a good, clear understanding of the issue out there on,
And I apologize that should have been, but the time came about, we had that, and I really should have, I have no doubt I should have backed up and said this sooner. But I also didn't want this opportunity to go away. But there was
Those
time.
things happen. Yeah. Call for the question.
Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Judge Gossam to approve item number 9, motion to amend county judge's authorization 401.04 to a county court reporter with a maximum annual salary of $65,000. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Thank you. 5-0.
Motion to approve item 10.
He made you work for that, didn't he?
Yeah. Next time y'all go to buy a chip spreader, we're gonna talk about it. How many days that one's been down? Yes, sir.
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay. Item 10 reads motion to transfer up to $42,000 from Department 409 to Department 401 to fund the salary and benefits for the position 401.04 for the remainder of 2022 as needed. Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Fincannon. Anyone else have anything to add to this? Okay, all in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 11 is a motion to amend 2023 budget to rename position 401 to county court reporter in Department 401 and to fund the position by transfer of up to $90,000 to Department 409.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Is that 90?
That's
With
salary
benefits?
plus benefits.
Okay, that's,
It's
And
total salary
Judge
cost.
Gossam, we need to add, not rename 40104 because we deleted that position when we went into the 23 budget.
Okay. Well, it's still printed in my book.
It's printed as a comparison, but $0 are funded to it, so we
Yeah.
deleted it.
Okay, either way, but as long as it's 401.04, we're fine.
Can
As
we-
added.
can we add with or that 90 with benefits?
For
Because-
salary plus
For
benefits.
salary plus benefits, yeah.
And instead of it being just look like a
For,
salary number?
for salary and benefits.
Right.
Mhm.
And I'll make that motion for that.
Second.
Okay, any other comments? Okay. All in favor of the motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Muller, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all very much, and I do apologize for bringing it in that way. Okay, we'll move to the fun items now. Item number 1, review and approve the regular bills for payment. Order County Treasurer to disperse payroll and bill payments within 72 hours via U.S. Mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the Treasurer's office.
So moved.
Second.
Anyone have any comments or questions about the bills? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item number 2 is open to take action as necessary on bids for road materials. Do we have any bids?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Looks like Ergon, Judge.
All right, thank you. Organized return to bid for emulsions only. FOB price is $2.86 a gallon for CRS2, and they substitute SS1 for the CSS1 is $2.86. Prime is a gallon is $3.06, and CQS1F is $2.81. That's the FOB price, and their delivery prices throughout the county are $2.90 for the first two, $3.10, $2.85.
Judge, I just looked over there for Willie and he's not there.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
city.
Okay, Big City Concrete for crushed aggregates is 1.5-inch crusher run. Type B is $11 a ton, FOB.
I think that's the same as this last year. That's at least it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Was all of our.
Of course, they won't guarantee anybody
Concrete
will.
waste upstairs, didn't
No,
we? No.
we were going to, but we were getting more debris than we were getting concrete, so.
He two emulsions.
Okay. Okay, P2 emulsions has bid, only the emulsions for CWE, it's 301 gallon at their plant, and 329 delivered throughout Wichita County. For their P2S1, it's 268 FOB and 296 throughout the county. And their prime concentrate, $1.97 at the plant, and $2.24 delivered throughout the county.
Right asphalt.
Okay, thank you.
Not to be confused with wrong asphalt.
Okay.
Different spelling.
They also bid the emulsions, 310 for CRS2 at the plant, and 3.477 delivered throughout the county. For CSS1H, it's 310 at the plant, and 3.477 delivered throughout the county. For MC30, that's not an emulsion, last time I knew. It's 425 a gallon at the plant, 4.601 delivered throughout the county. And for TR Fog, 310 at the plant, and 3.483 throughout the county delivered.
Next one is, it's out of Graham, must be.
Oh, it's,
Is that- You got the rest?
yeah.
Yeah, Zach Harvey. Oh, that's important.
Oh, who are these checks made out to?
Oh, okay,
You caught it.
Back page.
You caught it with when you sliced it.
I wondered myself.
We're not in Oklahoma.
For the record, those are not checks.
You can see from here.
Some kind of receipt.
Yeah, it's all right, guys. I just wanted to check. Okay, they have bid rock aggregates at Origin at the plant for hot lay mix, $86.50 a ton. For ASPM, it's $110 a ton. Delivered is $128 to Wichita Falls, ranging up to Electra $133. And for hot lay, $86.50 at the plant, and ranging from $90.75 a ton to $96.75 a ton for delivery in Wichita County. And coal lay is $90 a ton at the plant, and $108 up to $113 for delivery throughout Wichita County. It does not, I'm gonna guess that's the Wichita plant, I would hope. That's what they need on. Any others?
Is there gravel on that one, Judge?
Well,
Is there-
yes,
That's,
sir, I'm sorry, there is.
well, that's gonna be the only one.
Okay. Their 3/8 inch number 2 cover is $17 a ton.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
And $35, ranging up to $40 for delivery. 5/8 number 3 cover washed is $20 a ton, ranging from 38 to 43. So you probably, well, think what that's gonna do to asphalt if you're doing.
So it makes that hot mix look better, but it's gonna go up accordingly.
Makes you think you probably need it.
Well, how do we had good pricing on our emulsions, but what about this gravel moving forward? I mean, we're missing the group up there.
Delising.
Let's take this under advisement and probably re-advertise, rebid.
hasn't bid in the
I
last
know.
Yeah.
3 bids.
Well, the problem is, we're just about ready to start restocking.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
that's-
asked-
that was the reason
I
for
asked
moving it to this time of year.
Jack to try to get everybody on
Get
the
them
same
coordinated.
page for, and that's a very significant price increase.
Those are twice what they were, not just that long ago.
Your other aggregates in that all stayed, 1-inch crusher run is 9, 1.5-inch crusher run is 8, 3/8 screening is $8 a ton, rock screening is $8. Those all stayed, rip wrap's 21.
Wonder why their 3/8 and 5/8 are going that much higher than the.
Demand.
Demand, that's your paving material.
One inch crusher run like that, make it very smooth.
It'll
And it
make
uses-
it strong, but yeah, it's not very pleasurable to drive.
Tire cover.
And the amount of oil it takes to cover the fines in that you
Yeah.
won't like either.
Motion to take under advisement for 1 week.
You may need to have, Nancy, how's 1 week work for you? Is okay? Okay.
And,
I know you want this done before the holiday.
and Mel, would you look at how does this affect what we currently have in place? Could we ask for and receive an extension of price of what we have in place? And most of our rock called from a different locale last year. Is that possible? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we've got a bid that's way excessive and only a single bid, so we either have to rebid or,
Well, the current bid should have an exit date on it,
yeah.
the one we're operating under, and it
Which-
may already
It may
be.
go to the end of the year.
Well, and see,
Yeah.
they've been sending us, Cheryl sends them to us. Cheryl receives the price adjustment. They send us notification that they're gonna add whatever to that. So she gets it over to us and we add that into the mix as to what that, but they've done that now about, I would say 3 times that they've
Yeah.
adjusted. They've not been great, but,
Adjusted price within the bid.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and we had that happen. A lot of materials, so.
Yeah.
Court reporter looks pretty cheap compared to rock.
Yes.
Can we get a court reporter that busts rock?
Yeah. Never know.
We do need to look and see when that current contract, that current
Yeah.
bid
Yeah.
expires, and it should have an expiration date on it.
Yeah, and
That may give us
I-
some room.
This is the first time that we kind of altered our schedule to kind of coincide, but it may be through, it was for the second half of the year, was it
I
not?
think it was, I bet it runs through the end of the year, although if they're adjusting price within that bid, it may not make much difference.
No, I could find out. We've got a count set up and we can get a current price, what we would haul it for. But
Okay.
Wait a minute.
can you give Mel how we bid that last time, Nancy? So he can look at that, review.
Well, we
So the
rebid
first
it.
bid- Yeah, this is the rebid for November to April.
Yeah,
So the first bid went for the first half. So
First half or second half? Did we bid?
you went January to June, and then you did a couple of rebids.
yeah, we bid,
We kept trying to get a price.
Yeah, you weren't getting,
The only way we're getting one is verbal.
did we not rebid in June like we normally do, and then we were gonna get on this schedule now, where we were bidding?
We did.
Yeah, I
I
think we
guess
bid
we
in
held
June
off
for the end
that
of the year.
second bid, is that what you're
I
telling
don't
me?
know, I think there's a bid out there, we need to find out.
No, I
what
think
the
we
bid
did,
is.
I think we rebid back in the summer. And then with the thought of going to this new schedule,
So there may be a current bid laying there.
okay, so the bids that we did in June were for,
Well, if we did them in June, it'd be through July through December, right?
not necessarily because Mark had already talked to you all, yes, we did rebid in June for, road materials, asphalt, oil, emulsions, and concrete through December.
Okay.
okay, so we're,
Give that to Mel and let him just double check us, and then I'll get a price from the other group
okay,
of what our current,
but
Well, you, be careful there.
Well, see, this says, like this one says November 22 through April 23.
Yeah.
There may be one on the table through December 31.
That's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is, since this is
Well, that's why we
a
need,
new way to bid. it's
Yeah,
not
new-
we
a-
need to take it
New
under
schedule.
advisement and see how we've got it structured
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
see how these bids are structured moving forward.
Okay, so
Oh,
a motion, take it under advisement,
And so-
and who seconded it?
Me.
Again,
Second.
you're late.
Am I late? That's
You're
fine.
second
That's
late.
good, that's good.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Fincannon to take the bids under advisement and possibly consider, rebidding. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 3 is necessary to take action to approve for a down payment of $86,860.28 to COI Group for furniture in the first floor renovation area to be paid from the Permanent Improvement Fund to be reimbursed by ARPA funds as directed by the county auditor. Total amount of the previously approved court order 22.1031.758.
This
Commissioner
is the
Beecham?
same?
Yeah, this is the same, this is what we approved last week.
Yeah.
The ask was to go ahead and pay a 50% down payment, which we have done on other projects, including, I believe, Midwest Furniture when we did the LEC. I visited with Cheryl about it before I put it on the agenda. She didn't see that it was an issue. It's an awful lot of capital to come up with to make that purchase, and we need to get it in the stream right now to get it here on time, so it'd be my motion to approve that.
Second.
I have concern about it. We've got it, with Midwest Furniture, we had somebody been around forever. This is a new company with someone we've done business with for a long time, but a new player in that company.
Sure.
I don't mean this to sound wrong, but I wish that had been brought up by them at,
I do
We
too,
did.
I do too.
and I wonder if we can pay it direct to the supplier.
That'd be
there-
better than
it's-
paying it to the company.
Yeah.
It's on 3 different federal government contracts. I guess we could take it under advisement and work with the auditor's office on how to disperse those funds. 'Cause it's under 3 different federal government contracts that we're purchasing this.
Or you could pay half on each one of them.
I mean, we could.
Do them
but-
separate payments.
But I don't know how those, I don't know how those federal government contracts are structured, so. But I can amend the motion to approve it with, in
Could be-
coordination with the auditor's office on how those funds are dispersed.
Yeah, I realize part of that might be, part of it's their profit in it, you know, but,
I don't
that's,
think we should be paying the profit up front,
well,
not the capital
No.
to get the furniture secured, yes,
but their bid included all that.
yes, sir.
So it's, that half price has got that in there some way. So that may be what could hamper them in saying, yeah, go ahead and do it that way. I don't know.
Okay.
But I just have concern
Oh,
about doing the
I
other.
understand the concerns.
Yeah.
And, we discussed those concerns, discussed them with Cheryl, so.
But if they could, we could make a check out to them and to whoever that is, the contractor.
There's
you know.
3 when I don't remember all of them, so.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect you to.
So, yeah, I can amend that motion to approve it with, how would I word that? The guidance.
With payment to the suppliers.
With payment to be directed by the auditor's office to the
Would it be
government
to both?
contract suppliers, yeah.
Be to both, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't see an issue with that.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on the item? We have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Fincannon, to approve the item with the additional with payment to be directed by the auditor to the suppliers rather than COI. Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries 4-0. Okay, item 4 is discuss, consider, take action to approve PR number 1 for the Wichita County Annex 2022 renovations from M&F Liticon to break up CU2 into 2 separate systems. This will help keep heating and cooling in place during the phasing of the project. Additional copper piping installation and control wiring will be needed to make the modification for the cost of $13,800. Commissioner Beecham.
Yes, Judge, this is a scope change in the project. After awarding the bids, we did walk with the HVAC contractor. It tried to determine the best way to move forward for comfort and livability within the building as that project moves on.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a big spin, but it was something we really couldn't do until we got a contractor in place to understand how we could phase that and keep at least a degree of HVAC operational as they take one system down and build another system back up in its place. This was their proposal to do that, the 13.8, while it's an expense, it's an expense to go to the comfort of our staff and the people that would be visiting the building. So, rather than me signing for that expense, I want to
But
put it out
this
for
way,
discussion.
we're not, all our ducks aren't in one barrel, you know?
It keeps us phased. It'll keep us phased where we'll have some HVAC operational. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be 100% comfortable all the time, but it's the best attempt to keep it operational as we move forward. Glenda, you have anything to add other than that?
Pretty much explains it. It's operating under one large piece of equipment now and to break it up so that we can try to keep part of it functioning while we replace the other part of it. It's gotta be split, and this is the best method that we could figure out so that we're not just absolutely putting in something just to turn around and throw it away when the new system comes in. It actually splits the building in half and,
Allows some degree of
Yeah.
control.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think
a
that's
perfect system.
good. I see nothing.
it's gonna be difficult enough working in that
That's
whole
right.
first floor with all of the offices remaining fully functional.
Yeah, and we're trying to schedule it in the late winter through springtime where we're not having the demand on the HVAC system that we would have in the middle winter or in the summertime, so try to minimize it. So it would be my motion to approve item 4.
Second, is that?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions by anyone on this item? Okay, a motion by Commissioner Beecham, a second by Commissioner Hall to approve the item as stated. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 5, discuss, consider, take action to approve proposal to replace the lobby windows with the bullet-resistant windows as per ASI number 31 in the lobby and reception area of the Wichita County LEC facility. Remove 3 aluminum window frames and glazing, replaced with hollow metal frames with, level 3 acrylic glazing finish, and install new fiberglass panels equal to Armor Core level 5 and paint all affected areas to match existing for a cost of $79,780. Commissioner Beecham.
Yes, Judge, this was what was brought before Commissioners Court several months back, and this was the directive that was given to replace those windows with ballistic glass and the panels below. And this this is the proposal to meet those requests.
And this will be out of LEC funds.
This will be out of LEC funds,
Yeah.
which we do have funding available to meet this request.
I'd make the motion, we move forward.
Second that.
Judge Hayden?
I had that's, it's not gonna hurt anything. Let me change who's doing it. What I wondered, is there a chance, and this is, I'm picturing that new stuff coming out of there. Is there any way any of that glass and the stuff we're doing over in the annex could be cut, fit, do whatever? I mean, I just wondered.
I don't know.
I know,
don't-
I wouldn't expect you to know that, but
That's-
I'm just saying,
I
this,
doubt it very seriously, the stuff that's going into the new windows going into the annex or exterior windows, they'll need to be insulated glass. The stuff that's coming out of the LEC is just a 1/4-inch plate glass. It is not an insulated glass. While it sounds like it ought to work, it will not.
no, it won't be exterior, I realize that, but I don't know if there's any interior design.
We're not really using the same type of glass anywhere on the interior either.
Most everything is done with modular furniture. We have glass panels, so, I don't know, we'll have it, we can look at it as we move forward with other renovations, know that we have it available.
Those big sheets of glass are not gonna be something you're gonna store around. It's gonna,
No, and when they get taken out and taken down, a lot of times glass breaks just in the process of removing it.
Could we use it to make a office divider for our new court reporter? Let's explore that.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm just not gonna go there.
I guess we'll have to buy furniture for.
Is there any discussion?
I know it's expensive,
I hate to
but
throw away new stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the way it
Yeah.
works.
Well, it's over a year old.
it's one of those things that, we took a value engineer to reduce that from the BR glass to begin
Yeah.
with, and then now we're putting the BR glass back in there
At a higher rate.
at a higher rate most likely, yeah, because.
No, I don't think it's a higher rate.
No, but it's just, you never get value for value.
You're not
in-
value for value.
And he did look at multiple sources. I know that M&F looked at multiple sources for the glass and the glazing and everything, and it wasn't just a one source thing, and so this was the best value that he could
Boulder
get.
resistant glass is very expensive.
It's very expensive, and then
And that's a
the,
lot of glass.
it is a lot of
But
glass.
the panel below.
The panel
also-
below is the armor core, or whatever, that armor core, I think is what it's called. It's very expensive too. It's just goes like from the knees, the countertop, it's from the knees down all the way across there where the gals
Which is
sit.
kind of what they do, they drop and try to.
Right, they would be hiding underneath the counter, and that on its own, was like $14,000. Is that, just to put that plate of it down.
And is this, remind you of the Teller windows? Is this glass similar?
It's very thick, yes, it's like 1 3/8 inch thick or something like that, and there's multiple layers of it. It's the same, yeah, it's basically the exact same that we put in Banks at Teller windows.
Well, having all those windows that the tax assessor took out, those are all bullet resistant.
I don't know where there's no, haven't come across them.
Yeah.
I've asked Tommy, just curious.
Is there what is the application to talk through the glass? Is that
It's a microphone on both sides, it's a
Oh,
wireless
Yeah, it's
mic.
already in place.
okay. So it's not a cutout in the
No,
glass?
there's no hole in the
Actual-
glass.
Okay.
No. You know, that always amazed me, you put that bulletproof glass there and you put a hole
Hole
in
in
it.
the middle.
Okay, anything else on that item? We have a motion to approve it by Commissioner Watts, second by Commissioner Finpan. Any other comments, anyone? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item 6 is receive the end of the month investment report and financial report for October by Mr. Hampton, County Treasurer.
Where did y'all get the handout?
Well, it's always nice to have Riggs back. He's in the control panel in there.
On your desk.
Oh, they were on there.
And someday, maybe the new treasurer get this screen where it'll work. What do you think, Brandon?
We'll be using it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, there we go. We're back in business. This is just some information that I thought you'd like to read over when we get through here. This is the latest on Century. Really a good write-up. I gave you one, I think, didn't I, Jim?
I think we had that. I saw that over the weekend.
The good news is that financially, the county's in good shape. And before I go over that, I want to tell you, I came up yesterday to work. My magic key would not work on the door. And Riggs told me to put this in front of me, so I don't know how that... All right. Anyway, I called the sheriff's department to see if they could come and dispatch one of their officers if he was in patrol and get me in the building.
Your card key did not
They,
work?
it did not work, would not open the door. And boy, I tried and tried and tried. Anyway, they, the lady that was very professional over the phone, she called me and said, call Mark Whipple, gave me his number. I called Mark and he didn't even hesitate. He just said, I'll be right, give me a few minutes, I'm home. He said, I'll come up. He did, he brought his wife with him. And I begged her forgiveness for interrupting their Sunday, but he was very professional, great spirit. And I even told him, I said, Mark, I'm not going to interrupt your family time. I'll just come real early Monday morning. And he said, no, I'll be right there. So I just wanted you to know,
Did
Chief.
his card work okay, Bob? I mean,
No, he let me in the west door,
Oh, okay.
whatever that, I guess that's a card too, though, isn't it?
It's the same
Yeah,
card.
Same card.
Well, his worked on that door.
I was gonna say mine worked on both doors over the weekend.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, mine wouldn't work. And boy,
You
I
know,
tried everything in the world.
Yours has got an expiration order, but it's.
It could be, and it probably is.
Yeah.
You have it in your packet, so I won't bore you with details, but real quickly, and I know we're getting on into the midday hours there. The high points on this thing is that the jail funds, we've spent $72,288,556.13 at the end of October. And right now we have $693,388.78 as ready cash balance. We moved some of that money over to TexPool, and I just wanted to point that out. We achieved $1,095.75 worth of interest just in TexPool, which is brought back old memories. That's a great deal. Looking at your end of the month and comparing that with the trailing 12 months, which is your gray printout. Basically, the trailing 12 months, we are probably neck and neck with a few real high spots. One of those high spots, as I've told you right here, this middle line right here has always been my barometer on where we are as far as ready cash. In other words, we have never in my 18 years been lacking in funds. So right now, you can see right here on your sheet too, we had $30,101,439.32. That's compared to 2021. We've got almost $10 million. We got over $10 million here than we did a year ago. And just so you'll know, we got one real nice tax check last week from Tommy. So Tommy's crew is really doing a good job, and
It's already injecting into this number, Bob?
no, it'll be next month.
Okay.
Yeah, but we got one last week though, Commissioner, so I just wanted you to know that those are starting to roll in. And the bottom line right here is total dollars in the general fund account, and that's $40,078,286, which is a little less than we were last year, but the good news is, we've been spending money to refurbish this building, so I think we're in really good shape. Tuning on down to Road and Bridge, in your colored sheet, we moved a lot of money into TexPool, and so at the end of October, we had $13,575.75 worth of interest, for a total balance in Road and Bridge of $8,404,631,049, which represents a 27% improvement over the trailing 12 months. So if you look at your gray sheet and compare that with this sheet, last year we had $6,000,006. And then moving on down to the totals, this is almost looking like we're looking at Glenda's bank account. We have $56,375,537, which you subtract the 66,000 here in the law library. If you subtract that from that total, we're almost even at where we were last year. And here again, comparing with the things that we've been buying, that we are in really, really good shape. Moving on down to the LPPF monies, you can see right there that we are $9,974,757.64. We put some of that money in TexPool. The auditor decided that that was not the place to be, and we took it out on October the 21st. We put it in 13, took it out on the 21st, and we still achieved $1,894 worth of interest, which was, I thought, pretty nifty.
Bob, is that just a
There's
one?
a statute on that. It can only be, it has to be in a bank depository as determined by the contract. It can only be withdrawn by request from the state. And any interest earned in that account goes to the state anyway, so we can't put it in that.
We can't,
No.
just wondering.
Is that
Just so they'll be, that's not the way I read it, but anyway, that's, the auditor said do it, and I did.
Is this just, we're just paying that once a year?
LPPF.
We're paid once a year.
They pay us. and
Once a
then
year,
we,
$20,000.
Yeah, we only, as the county, get a $20,000 stipend for running this, but we collect money from them and pass it to the state at their request. As you
It's not quarterly, it's.
No, it's whenever they request, and so I think it's next week, we'll see about almost $8 million that they've requested as of Friday, so that'll go on next week's bills. You'll see that, so.
So we don't get to keep any interest?
We do not get to keep any
Don't
interest,
keep
we
any
only
interest.
get the
We're
$20,000.
strictly salaried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strictly salaried.
So, it's, yeah.
And then moving right on to the American Recovery Funds, we accumulated $45,000 worth of interest just last month. So, not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad for no country boy. And here's your pie chart that shows you what we do have invested in, and the weighted average is 2.69. Everything over here on the right is red. This will be my next to last report to you guys. Everything over here is in the red. There's some conversation and movement about selling some of our investments because of the intent of catching up. You don't ever catch up when you sell at a loss. If you take and I looked at this, and this is one of the deals that's on the sheet that's on the second page. Even corporate bond funds are underwater right now, and that's simply because no one would have expected the Fed to raise the rates like they have done. It has not been done in the history of the United States. 4 continuous 75 basis point raises. With another, right now the Fed rate is 4.25. Chairman Powell is going to raise the rate again, he says, this month, so the Fed rate by the end of the year will be 5%.
And he can't figure out that's going the wrong direction.
And thank you, Judge, for saying that, because sometimes initials behind a name really don't, you gotta do your own homework. And you gotta call on professionals to get your work done. Anyway.
Well, they told us over the weekend that inflation's a made-up word, that we just come up with it out of the blue, and all of a sudden we're teaching people a new word.
Must be how you spell it.
We've got a great laddered portfolio that I'll be turning over to Stephen, and if you guys on the investment committee have any questions about that, I'll be glad to visit with you and at any time, at any place. And I'll also be telling Steve if he needs any help with anything or explanation, I'll be there to help him too. But selling something at a loss, we'd take such a haircut that you could not catch up. Even if you took some of this 1% money and put it in 4% money, you can't catch up that way.
Well, should the committee come back with a recommendation to the court to not arbitrarily decide to do that to meet what we designed under different circumstances, but to change that weighted average to allow those to go ahead and go to maturity?
I don't think the committee has ever requested that we sell anything early. I think the committee has requested that as we sell, as we reach maturity, that we reinvest in shorter term papers.
I hope that stays that way.
And as long as I'm on the committee, that's the way we will do it.
Okay. I
Well,
didn't
you
know
got
whether
one more
y'all
month.
had-
Yeah, no.
Committee.
What's
I didn't know
that?
if you'd
You
felt,
got one more month on the committee, Commissioners.
if you
Yeah.
felt need, we will have a review of that, so between now and December 31st to see if there's any tweaking to do to that, because it does require annual review.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, appreciate it.
Mr.
Good.
Hampton, if y'all, your last probably monthly meeting you'll have, or quarterly, if you all could submit to the court any recommendations for any change in the policy, that
Be glad to do that.
Okay.
any other questions? Thank you, sir, for the report.
You sure will.
All right.
Bob, you gonna be around for just a minute? I wanna talk to you.
Sir, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we got one more.
Time tonight is 6:30?
6:30, yes, sir. I appreciate you being here for that.
Glad to-
Thank you.
Item 7 is receive an update on courthouse renovation and elevator projects at County Courthouse Annex. Commissioner Beecham.
Lot of things going on. If you go downstairs, it's got they got tile on the walls, they've got light fixtures going in, ceiling tiles going in. All the millwork has been put in place. I think we've got doors arriving this week to start doors.
Mark, what's between the bathrooms, and I love the tile, between the bathrooms, there's some plumbing, what is that thing?
That's janitor's closet.
Oh, okay.
It's, yeah, all that area is coming along well.
That's not a court reporter's office.
No,
Okay.
it could be.
Well, I didn't understand till just recently that the two rooms over here, the employee lounge and employee break room, are two different areas. So that's what when I saw that, I thought, is that one of those kind of things, or?
Well, we got some windows put in last week on fourth and fifth floor, some of the windows, not all of them. I think we got more windows coming this week to be installed. They did over the weekend pressure wash the annex, so that was one of Tommy's requests 5 years ago, that we pressure wash it. It's been done now.
Well, when will we approve the outside overlook?
We got a new drawing, got received on Friday. There was a couple of tweaks that we're working on that, so soon, maybe next Commissioner's Court.
Okay, and when or what phase would we get to address that second, floor entrance there? You know, I won't go on the second floor. I only go to the back because I don't feel like I feel like I'm encroaching in somebody's department, just walking in. Can that,
I'm not following you.
you know where the public defender's office
Oh,
is?
public
It
defender's,
looks like it's kind of their office that you're going into, but the
It
judge,
is-
he took me that way. We went to, well, no, me and you, Mark, went. We went that way and went right through there, but I feel like I'm in their space and then go on to,
It's because of the conference table there. It feels
Yeah.
like you're in a conference room instead of a lobby.
yeah,
And-
it doesn't have that lobby look.
Paula?
And there's that doorway right there that, you know, kind of sections it off.
Yeah.
And I think that makes me feel like I'm going into their space.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we have to have the door just for already corridor type
do y'all ever,
areas, but
y'all use it as a conference room ever?
We do, probation uses it as well,
Yeah.
so it is utilized.
Do you shut that door when you are
No.
utilizing it?
No, the doors stay open all the time.
Okay.
It's just an really oddity that we have a conference room right in the middle of a lobby. And,
For the domino games.
yeah. That way they're in public at least. But, no, a lot of moving parts. Try to meet with the Iowa Park Annex folks this week and discuss that project as well. So that's drawn, and I really like how that's looking. So we'll be bringing that.
At this juncture, we don't have any security plans for that, right? At Iowa Park. I got asked that this weekend.
Security as of,
Going through something to get into the building.
we don't do it in any of the other annexes.
No, and
I mean-
I told them I wasn't aware of anything pending on that. They didn't want it,
Okay,
that's why.
well, okay. No, I mean, nothing other than it'll be 2 entrances, 2 exits, so
Yeah.
we could,
But everything will connect from.
everything will connect, yeah.
everybody
east
can
to
get to the
west.
bathrooms now.
Yeah, everybody will be able to go to the
Without
bathroom.
locking
It's
the
all
door.
built within the existing footprint of the building, with no expanding the building. We've got plenty of square footage there to do what we need to do. But that'll be, once I have that other meeting with everyone, we'll bring those plans forward. But I really like the plan that Glenda's drawn up for that. It's looking nice.
When do we get to see those? I've seen some others, but I don't think I've seen what is.
I can show you.
Okay.
But yeah, that's, I want to have that other meeting with them before we finalize that, but it's getting close to being final.
I'd also heard that the fellow that's putting that FSA NRCS facility together out there has done multiple ones of those around the state for those deals. Barry, have you heard?
Yeah,
And so it should be,
and hopefully it'll go up pretty quickly.
right.
We're hoping,
That's-
yeah.
I know David and his bunch are really satisfied with,
Yeah.
with their areas, so
Good.
we
I
just,
wondered, Mark, if that was, felt like
Yeah.
that was.
Make it
That-
very functional.
Are we gonna approach 4-H board?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. 4-H and Iowa Park 4B, so to
Okay.
partner in with us on those renovations.
Okay.
So I don't think we go with this one alone.
No.
So, there are other pockets of money available for this project.
Mhm.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right. It is,
Oh, Judge, on that
Yeah.
order there, Cheryl, could Mike do an update for us on you had him put together that,
Yeah. I'll get him to do something that's a little clearer for you guys.
okay, thank you.
okay.